Hi there, welcome to Spline Universe. I'm Maya, a Spline expert designer and your guide through the world of interactive 3D. In this video, I will show you the basics of how to work with cameras in Spline, perfect for anyone who's just getting started. We will cover everything from zooming and panning to camera animations, switching between multiple cameras, and tips for export settings. Alright, let's get started. First, let's look at the basic camera controls. In Spline's editor, the default camera is not shown as a layer, but there is a personal camera already set up. What we are looking through right now is called the Viewport. To zoom the camera, simply scroll your mouse wheel. You can also type a value directly in camera zoom field at the top of the toolbar. Next, let's try panning the camera. Hold the space bar while dragging on the screen, or press and hold the middle mouse button and move your mouse. Panning moves the scene left, right, up, or down, while keeping the camera's rotation fixed. Think of like a panoramic view. You are just sliding your view horizontally without changing the camera angle. Now let's try orbit. Hold Alt key and left click while moving your mouse, or hold Ctrl key plus middle mouse button and move your mouse. Orbiting rotates the camera around the object you are looking at, like circling around your subject to see it from all angles. It's more dynamic movement compared to panning. If you want to reset the camera to its original position, hover over the viewport helper at the bottom and click the reset button. When you move the camera, you will notice the viewport helper at the bottom center moves as well. Red line is x-axis, green one is y-axis, and the blue one is z-axis. You can even click directly on the viewport helper to switch to a front, top, side, or bottom view instantly. When you hover over the viewport helper, you will see two options, Reset and Isometric. Clicking Isometric changes the view to an isometric angle and automatically sets the camera's x-axis rotation to -45 degrees. Right below the viewport helper, you will find the options for orthographic and perspective view. By default, we are looking through orthographic view. In orthographic mode, objects appear the same size regardless of their distance from the camera, which makes it really helpful when comparing the actual proportions of objects in their sense. Switching to perspective gives you a much stronger sense of depth. Even if objects are the same size, the ones closer to the camera will appear larger, while those further away will look smaller. Perspective makes your sense feel more dynamic and truly 3D. However, modeling in perspective view can be a bit tricky, so it's usually best to do your modeling in orthographic first, then switch to perspective to fine-tune the positioning of your object. Next, let's look at how to set up camera animations. To animate your camera, first add a new camera from the top toolbar. After adding it, always make sure that the viewport camera in the top right is set to the correct one. Personally, I always click Snap Camera and use camera right after adding a new camera, so as a one set. Just like any other object, camera can have states, and that's how we create animations. Let's set up a simple camera animation where the camera moves to different positions. First, Select the camera and set its positions and rotation for the base state. Let's keep this as a front view. Add a new state and move the camera to the right, as if panning the view. Then add another state and rotate the camera to create an orbit view. To keep things clear, let's rename the states. Double-click the first one and call it PAM, and rename the second one to Orbit. Now add transitions so the camera moves smoothly from the front view to pan and then to orbit. Let's preview it. You can see how the camera switches between positions smoothly. Now let's see how to use camera path. First, add another camera and rename it camera path so it's easy to keep track of. Next, create an ellipse and convert it to a path. This will be the track for the camera to follow. It can be any path like a drawing path using a pen tool. Select the camera, then go to the modifiers panel on the right and add an Align to Path modifier. Set the ellipse as the path object. Now add a new state. In the base state, set the offset value to 0. In the new states, set the offset to 1. Then add a transition so the camera moves from the base state to the new state over 3 seconds. Hide the path and let's preview. You now have a smooth camera animation that makes a full loop around the path. Just to make sure the camera view is set to perspective. If it's still set to orthographic, the animation won't work correctly. So if something looks wrong, double check that the path is correctly assigned and that your camera is perspective view. You can also animate the zoom value when using an orthographic camera. However, you currently cannot animate the near and far clipping values. It's also important to know that you cannot switch between orthographic and perspective view within a single camera using states. So from what I understand, for a single camera, we can animate only its position, rotation, and zoom value. Next, let's look at how to use multiple cameras in a single scene. As we've already seen, you can add a new camera from the toolbar. If you want to switch between multiple cameras within one scene, you can use the switch camera action. Let's add a mouse down trigger to an object so that when we click it, the view switches from camera 1 to camera 2. Set the target to the camera you want to switch to and set the duration to 2 seconds. Set the initial camera to camera 1 in the export setting. Now we have a smooth animation that transitions from camera 1 to camera 2 over 2 seconds. If you change the mode to toggle, the view will switch back and forth between the two cameras every time you click. As I mentioned earlier, you cannot switch between orthographic and perspective within a single camera using states. But using this switch camera action, you can achieve that effect by having camera 1 set to orthographic and camera 2 set to perspective. It seems to be working great now. Finally, let's take a look at the export setting. Open the export panel and check the overview. The camera shown in place settings and the camera in the overview section are the same. If you have not added any cameras, it will default to the personal camera. But if you added one or more cameras, make sure the starting view is set to the correct camera. For example, even if you are looking through camera 1 in the viewport, if the export camera is set to camera 2, your published scene will look different from what you see in the editor. However, when exporting an image, Spline will use whatever camera is currently active in the viewport. That's all for today's adventure in the Spline universe. We covered the basic of working with cameras. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps motivate me to keep creating more. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon. Bye.